Hi guys, welcome to episode 5 of Matchbook. Go grab a cozy sweater, a hot drink, and a notebook because we have some mysteries to solve today. Come join me for 2 books that are thrillers. So the 2 books we're going over today are an adult thriller, Those We Left Behind by Stewart Neville, and a YA thriller, You Owe Me a Murder by Eileen Cook. So let's dive in. So Those We Left Behind by Stewart Neville is about 2 brothers who, when they were in their early teens, murdered their foster father and were sent to jail. One of them has already been out of jail for a little bit when the book starts, and the other one, the younger one, Kieran, is about to be released from prison. One of them actually admitted to the murder, but there's some speculation and some doubt over which one actually committed the act. The book follows 3 characters: Kieran, who's the younger brother who's just about to get out of jail, Serena, who is the investigator who took their original confessions and who Kieran tends to trust the most besides his brother, and Paula, who is in charge of basically the re-entry process. She works in probation to make sure that Kieran can go from living in jail to living in the real world. Kieran is someone who you right away feel empathy for. He spent really his years of growing up in jail and now doesn't know how to make his own choices, doesn't really know what his own interests are, doesn't really know how to discover his autonomy in this world. He freezes when there's no one around to tell him exactly what to do and what decisions to make. This is very prevalent in his relationship with his brother. His brother is very protective of him, but in a way that is manipulative and doesn't leave room for him to have his own free will. And throughout the book, he is very much struggling with that, to discover that he can make his own choices and that he is his own person. Kieran's whole situation really reminds me of the real issue that people face when they are re-entering into society after time in prison, and how our organizations and our system don't necessarily prepare them as well as they should for re-entry into society. There's a really interesting NPR article that I will link below about this, as well as Sarah Koenig's podcast Serial, season 3. They go into detail about the whole criminal justice system. So if that is something that you want to explore, it's a really interesting, very important topic, and you want to learn more about it, I will link both of those below for you to check out. Now, I have to warn you, the ending of this book is frustrating. It's not surprising. I knew it would be frustrating as I was reading it, but it's frustrating nonetheless. It's purposeful. Like, the author didn't drop the ball here. He definitely meant it to end this way, and I could feel it, and I think he's trying to make a point through the ending, but I found it very frustrating. So just be prepared for that when you pick up this book. So our next book, Eileen Cook's You Owe Me a Murder, is a YA book, and this was so fun to read. I saw it on Instagram for weeks before I finally was like, okay, everyone's talking about this, time to sit down and read it. And I'm really glad I did. It's really, really fun. If you can, if like the stuff about murder can be called fun. It's a fun book. It is. So it's about this girl named Kim who's on a class trip to London. And she just recently broke up with her boyfriend, and she initially wanted to go on the trip because of him, to like be with him on this trip. And now she has to spend the trip watching him and his new girlfriend. Sucks, right? So while she's at the airport, she meets this girl named Nikki who is from London, so she's going home. And they're on the same plane, and they sit together on the plane, and they get a little drunk on the plane. and they joke about their sort of issues with people. So Kim talks about her ex-boyfriend, and Nikki talks about her issues with her mom, and Nikki jokes that they should murder each other's people, basically, because it would be the perfect crime if Nikki killed Kim's ex-boyfriend and Kim killed Nikki's mom, because no one could connect them to the crime. So they would be able to get away with it, and everyone would be happier in the end. And it's a joke, right? At least until Kim's ex-boyfriend gets pushed in front of a train and she receives a letter that says, okay, your turn. You owe me a murder, like the title says. And Kim's dealing of this whole issue is the rest of the plot of the book. I really liked it. It kept you on the edge of your seat. There was lots of twists and turns that I didn't see coming. And it's set in London, and I love books that are set in locations that I have been to and can recognize and whose descriptions are accurate. I've been to London a couple of times. I haven't been there in quite a few years, but Kim's experience of the city for the first time very much revived my memories and my love of London. Seeing all of the sites that you usually go to when you're in London for the first time or the second time really revived all of that for me, to see it through Kim's eyes and how she was experiencing it. It was really, really great. I really just love recognizing locations and places and famous monuments or something from settings that I have been to and I know well, and it just makes the magic of the book even more magical for me. One thing I had a problem with, and it's a trope that is very commonly used in books, TV shows, movies, you name it. And it's this idea where the main character is scared that their significant other or someone they love is going to be put in danger. So what they do is they distance themselves by actually breaking up with them, right? And they don't tell them, and then that it's fake, basically. And then they get sad when the person's like, no, F you. Why can't you guys just tell your significant other what's going on? That, hey, there's this issue that I'm dealing with. I'm afraid you're gonna get hurt. Let's pretend to break up just for the time being until this is all over and I solve it. Why is that so hard? Because then you're not actually hurting somebody. You're not hurting yourself. You save your relationship at the end of the day, and you save the person. I don't know. Characters of the world, it's just something to think about when you're in a predicament and you're afraid for your significant other or your loved one. Don't actually hurt them. Let them in on the secret. Let them know what's going on. It's all gonna work out in the end anyway. So I do hope you guys go pick up this book with all of the twists and turns. I know you guys will love it, so you definitely need to go pick it up. Well, there you guys go, 2 thriller books. I hope you guys pick these up. If you do, please tweet at me at @VeritaSerum or at matchbook_lit on Instagram. I want to hear your thoughts on these books or any of the books we've gone over so far this year. Also, give me some recommendations if you have any specific books that you want me to talk about, specific genres or themes also, just shout those out to me. Also, be sure to use the hashtags Matchbook and Reading List Ignited. And if you have missed any other episodes, they are all on this channel, but you can also find them on my website. They are all listed there. And if you are not signed up for the newsletter, you absolutely should be. That is on my website. And if you are a part of the newsletter, you get access to these videos a full 24 hours before everybody else, as well as extra entries for any giveaways I do down the line. So I will see you guys next time.